Going to just kind of sit here for a moment and see if we get some people on here and make sure that we are actually getting to our destinations. I think we are there. Um, and so, hey, what's up, Whole Christian Church? Hey, I am so glad that you guys have been tracking with me. I am not so glad that we don't get to see each other face to face as often as we'd like to, but I've been encouraged by some of the things that you all have shared with me about just following along with us and with me and hearing about the things that happened over Easter with your families, with Easter Jam and worshiping together in your house. And so it's been a really, really huge encouragement to me when I hear those things. Today, I just want to be a little bit maybe on a lighter side than where we have been, especially when we begin thinking about where we're going. So crazy. I have a dog that's knocking on my door. Yeah, we'll just let that slide. Hey, but the things that are happening in our world, and then going into where we're leading. If you follow us on Sunday mornings for our sermons, we're going to be talking about what it means to be devoted to Jesus. And we're gonna do some stuff online. We're gonna have some places for you to be able to have questions that you can go through by yourself, or if you have a small group that you're with. If you're not a part of a small group and you want to be, contact me and I can try to hook you up with one. Here's the cool thing is that if you want to be a part of a small group and you don't have anybody else to be with, or you know a group of people that you think it would be cool to be in a small group with, give them a call. I can walk you through setting up a Zoom. If you have another avenue, you can do that as well. And here's the cool thing is that we're going to provide material for you to be able to do that if you want to over the next few weeks, or you can just simply do it yourself, right? And God is going to do something amazing through that. So if you'd like to lead a small group through Whole Christian Church, let me know, and we'll make sure that you're resourced and able to do that. But I've got one question today, and I'd love for you if you put in your comments now, maybe you can put them later. I just want to kind of track with that and see where that is. And that question is, how do you know that you're loved? Right? What is the thing that happens to you that you know that you're loved? Or maybe a story, or maybe there's a GIF or a GIF, or however you say that, or a meme, or whatever you want to throw down in there into the comments of how do you know that you are loved? And as I thought about that, right, I've been asking that of myself. One of the things that comes to mind is my mom. Right, and all of us probably have a mom who loves it, that they love us. They sacrifice so much for us. My mom was my dad was in the military, in the Navy, and he'd be gone six months at a time sometimes, right? And my mom would run us around. Soccer and football, and mom kept me in sports, and so she just made sure that I was always there, made sure that my siblings were always where they needed to be, would drive us to school, would go to work, would pick us up, would take us one to practice, would take another one to practice. Her Saturdays were filled with dropping kids off at one place to another. But we always felt like we were the special one, that we were loved and that we were cared for because of the sacrifices that she made with her time and her money. And it seemed like she would go without so that we could have. And it continues still today. You know, when I have conversations with her, she often is more concerned with how I'm doing than telling me about her life. She wants to know about how my kids are and what's going on. She wants to know about you all in the church and how things are going there. And my mom is always caring about me. So much so that when it's time for my birthday, my mom as a kid growing up, my favorite cake was a lemon cake that she would make. I loved it. I love lemons. She would make me a lemon cake for my birthday every single year. And for a long time after I had moved, she would call me on my birthday and she'd say, "Guess what I'm doing?" I said, "Well, I don't know, Mom. What are you doing?" She goes, "Eating your lemon cake." Right? And at first I would get a little upset with it because I'm like, man, what do you mean you're eating my lemon cake? I'm 1,400 miles away from you. Why are you making me a cake? When I began to have kids, I began to understand. My mom made a cake every year for my birthday, and it didn't stop because I moved away. It didn't stop because I was starting to have kids. It didn't stop because I wouldn't be able to sit there with her. I knew she loved me because she would think of me even when I wasn't there. She'd make that lemon cake and she would probably eat the whole thing. And so I guess I'm partly to blame for her health right now with diabetes. But I, she would make that cake uh, and tell me about it. And not only that, she'd tell me, "Hey, I'm eating, I'm making enchiladas tonight." And every time she'd make enchiladas, she'd call me. Uh, and let me know that she was eating some of my favorite food, right? That when she would come and visit me, she'd make sure that they were there. How do I know that I'm loved? Because my mom thinks of me at times when I uh, don't even know that she's thinking of me, when she's not even there with me. And my question is, how do you know that you're loved? I remember when I first moved to Michigan, I was 18 years old. I turned 19 here in Michigan the first year that I lived here. Um, I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I really didn't have a lot of plans. I had dreams, I had expectations, I had hopes, and I think very few of them actually came to fruition. My life is way different now than what I thought it was going to be when I was 19. Um, but the first time that I went back was probably right 4 or 5 months. And if you don't know, the food is very different here in Michigan than it was in Colorado or California or New Mexico, where some of my family lives. And so it took me a while to get used to some of the adjusting period. But one of the things that I got used to when I was home was that my grandma would make homemade tortillas. And man, those things were amazing, right? You'd throw them onto the oven or onto the stove top, and heat those things up for those, because I want to be able to heat up my tortillas. And when they're homemade, it's even better, right? It's amazing to have homemade tortillas, and you could heat those things up, put some butter on it, and you can eat that. I could live off that, right? You could live off that. I promise you. And so we would eat those things up. The first time I went home, I went and visited my grandma before I got back on the plane and come back to Michigan. And she gave me enough tortillas that filled up my backpack, right? Homemade tortillas. And so when I got home, every time I heated those things up, I would remember that I am loved. My question for you is, how do you know that you're loved? Right? And I'm sure there's somebody in your house, maybe somebody that's sitting right next to you, that shows you that you are loved over and over and over and over again. The reason I ask that is because we see enough stuff where people are fighting with each other. We see enough stuff in our world where people just say mean things to each other. And I want to change that. I want to see that change. I want us to change that. I want us as a church to be different. I want us as followers of Jesus, as people who say we are devoted to Jesus, to change that. You know, John he says this: just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. Right? The reason I want us to remember why we're loved and be able to put that down, right? And so again, put down in our comments, post on our page why you're loved. Put a picture of somebody who loves you. Whatever you want to do, I'd love for this to be interactive. And so share that with us. And I'm going to be looking at those, and I'm going to truly enjoy it. Share it with other people. Ask them how they're loved, how they know that they're loved. But Jesus says, man, love one another. New commandment. Here's what I'm telling you, people. Here's what I'm telling you. Love one another as I have loved you, which means Jesus loves us. Jesus loves us. Jesus loves you. If you didn't know that right now, you are loved. Right? If you're in a room by yourself right now, in a house that's empty, that if you're missing people that are close to you and love you, and there's a reason I use two examples of people who aren't right close with me all the time. It's because I want you to understand that even if somebody's not there with you, their love can sustain you and move you further on. And if we can begin to do that, if we can show love to other people, if we can remember that we're loved, then we will be able to love others. Maybe then our Facebook news feed won't be filled with people who are throwing hate at each other. Maybe some people with different opinions than us will still be able to talk with civilly. We won't throw daggers at them. We won't be trying to hurt them with our words. And man, this world would just be a little bit better place. Man, we're going to talk about this a lot more. But today, number one, be thinking about how you know that you are loved. Share that with me. All right. Hey, God bless. I love you. And I look forward to seeing you soon. For those who are here with me, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. And we're going to meet each other up real soon. I promise that. All right. I'll talk to you later. Grace and peace, and we'll see you soon. Bye.